Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Dadsigner Podcast. I'm Michael Smith, your host, and today I'm joined by Nick Miner. Hey, Nick, welcome to the show.
Hey, thanks for having me.
Yeah, so before we hopped on the call, Nick and I realized that we met in passing at Creative South last year and exchanged a patch and a sticker and went our different ways and really didn't know who each other were until we got on this call and I saw the patch on his hat and realized, oh, we met. um, but anyway, it's good to meet you again, and thanks for coming on the podcast.
Yeah, man, I'm really excited to be here.
Yeah, and why don't you tell folks a little bit about who you are, where you're located, and a bit about your family?
Yeah, my name's Nick Miner. I'm a graphic designer here in South Louisiana. Have a little studio in the suburbs of Baton Rouge, in a little town called Denham Springs. I do graphic design. I have another designer who works with me at the studio. Uh, we we do a variety of design work for, we freelance for agencies. We work directly with clients, so we do a good bit of stuff. And then, as far as my family, I have a wife, Katie, of 10 years, and a daughter, Clara. She's two, almost and a half now. So life is busy, life is fun, enjoying it.
Nice, nice. Yeah, 2-year-old is a lot of fun. It's hard when you're in it for sure, but when you look back, you're like, man, I wish my kid was 2 again.
Yeah, we just got through the terrible twos, which seemed to last like 4 months, and uh, now she's kind of hitting her stride and having fun, kind of developing personality. It's really fun. It's fun to watch.
It's cool. Yeah, well, I wanted to talk to you a little bit about some of your work. Um, two pieces in particular, but we'll start with Finish Line Haircut. Um, Tell us a bit about that project, what led to it, your process throughout, and the scale that it seems like it was pretty wide reaching.
Yeah. Um. So yeah, I had this was a referral client from an agency, and they were like, "Hey, like this sounds like it could be a fun project, but they don't quite have the agency budget." And so this was when I was just freelancing. I didn't have anyone working with me at the time, so took it on. And at first, it just started. I was like, "Hey, like I have an idea, and but I need some help developing it." So I got to be in from the ground level, which is super fun. Usually when clients come to me, they're like, "Oh, we already have an idea of like what our business is going to be." And Rusty, the guy who owns it, uh, he had like a clear vision of like he wanted to be racing themed. But other than that, he was like, "I'd like some help developing this." And so we did everything from branding to working with interior designers to get the style of the building. Like the biggest thing was like a lot of like salons that cater to men and boys, like typically are a little kitschy, like sports clips. You walk in there, it kind of feels like, is this like overly themed? And so with the being a racing theme, like you could go cheesy really quickly. And so like our goal was like, how do we make this feel authentic? Like, how do we make this feel like more historic? So we leaned into like a lot of like old racing photography and like touches of leather and metal work and things that didn't feel cheap. And it wasn't cheap, it was very expensive to build out. But the experience when you walk in there is like super immersive. Like you look around, and we kind of had to meet in the middle. Like I have one clear vision and then he had a different vision. And so we kind of had to, how do we make these two visions go? Like my aesthetic is a lot more minimal than his. And so we kind of had to meet in the middle, but overall it was super fun. I got to do everything from like custom badge works on uh like the toolboxes that act as their storage cabinets and window graphics. And I mean, it was super fun.
Nice. And is it just a singular location, or they have more locations?
Yeah. So this was their flagship store um, in Baton Rouge. And they've broken ground on their second location, which is here in my town, Denham Springs. So they're currently building that out, which should be fun. Luckily, we have like a system now. It's not building from scratch, but I'm sure they'll be calling me any day now to to help them like figure out the layout of the space and how the graphics are going to work and all that fun stuff. So
That's really cool. Yeah, and the aesthetic and style, actually, I was curious if that influenced your client gift this year, or if they were like completely separate things. But tell folks a little bit about what your client gift is, and two, did was there any influence from the one to the other?
Yeah. So Finish Line, like to be honest, I didn't do a ton of work with them last year. It's like it was the year before that that kind of launched, and they've kind of been in this growing stage, and now they're like, okay, we're ready to move forward to the second one. So not super influenced with that. So every year I do a client gift for my clients. I try to do something unique, something fun, something that they're not going to throw away. Like I try to do something more than just like a mug or something like that. And being a creative, I always try to like, hey, how can we make this cooler? Like what makes this more interesting? And so this year I decided to do like a custom wooden car. If you're watching the video, I'll hold it up so you can kind of see it. But this is it's based on a company called Candy Lab. They sell like work trucks and like high quality wooden cars for kids and adult collectors. And I thought it'd be really fun to do like a work fan inspired gift. And we did like a user manual that goes with it. Um, and a Christmas card that has like kind of a 50s style illustration to kind of like help tie in that. And I think the original idea was my office is located in what they call an antique village. So my office is right on top of a coffee shop. There's like 6 or 10 different antique stores outside of here, and they all have antiques and old old toys that kids used to play with back in the 50s. And so I was trying to think like, how do I tie in this our new location with the gift like subtly without it being like, hey, here's an antique. So that's kind of the inspiration behind it.
Yeah, that's cool. And you mentioned adult collectors. I am a Candy Lab collector. Right above my computer at home is a whole line of the work trucks, some of the other cars. And then last year, my family bought me. They have like a game, like where you try to get the car out of like a gridlock.
Hmm.
So like a lot of people play that on their phone, but they made a physical game of this with like buses and different shaped cars and stuff. And so I also have that. But yeah, Candy Lab to me, when I saw yet you created that, I was like, this is the most incredible idea I've seen of anyone creating a client gift. And maybe it's because like it just spoke to me, but I was like, if I was a client, I would be over the moon about it. For sure.
Yeah, man, it's hit and miss every year. Like you never know if someone's gonna be like, whoa, this is the coolest thing ever, or like they're just kind of confused and like, why are you giving me a kid's toy? And so I think really like a lot of the work I do all throughout the year is like under NDA because I do a lot of freelance for other agencies. And so like this is like one of the things that I get to really showcase and have fun with. And so I try to push it to the next level. Last year I did like a before the Candy Lab car, did a custom boombox, and I'd done like a custom mixtape. I had a song recorded by Froggy Fresh, and I gave like a little like very 80s style. And I dropped off the boombox. It had like a press play button, and they could play it. It was like a little thank you Christmas message, and then it kicked off the custom song that I had made, and then it was like a bunch of 80s throwback music at the end. And some clients were like, "This is the most amazing thing I've ever gotten," and some were like, "Cool, what do I do with this?" And so, I, either way, I just try to have fun with it.
That's cool. What are some other client gifts? I think I saw on your site, maybe one was hot sauce too. What were some other ones?
Yeah. So the hot sauce thing was a self promotion thing, but I've done uh, so the boombox was one. I did like this custom like blanket that has like a pelican illustration um, with like custom tags. I've done Yetis in the past. I did a custom coffee order one time. So like I had a client that was a coffee um, roaster, and so I was like, hey, like, can I get custom bags made? And I'll do a mug and a custom bag of coffee, and then like do that kind of thing. So done that. Yeah, probably a few other things, mostly drinkware, to be honest. And so I think about 3 years ago, I was like, look, we got to push this to the next level.
Yeah, yeah. It's funny that you said a mug. One of the big promotional items nowadays is like some sort of metal, whether it's a water bottle or a
Hmm.
mug or whatever it might be. My brother works in recycling, and he says the number of those promotional metal water bottles that come
Hmm.
into his recycling center every day is
Hmm.
in like the tons.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, we thought we were making something that was much more durable and long lasting, and here we are just throwing them all away still.
Yeah. I will say I opt for the most expensive ones. Like I've done 2 different promotions where I did like the huge Yeti jug for like
Yeah, yeah.
$45 a pop. And then I did the typical Yeti tumbler, which is like still $30. So like, hopefully people aren't throwing them away, because of how expensive they are. But if they are, then not, at least sounds like some people are recycling. So
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, which is good because they are just all metal and then trapped air, so,
yeah,
um
I think that was like the big thing I realized. I think that was the point of no return. I was like, I just spent $45 on a Yeti, which is like, it's cool. People are going to use it, like, great, but it's not super creative other than the artwork that's on the side of it. And I was like, could I spend $45 and do something really cool? And last year it was like well over $100 per gift, for the boombox and all that stuff. But like this year was probably somewhere around like that $40 to $50 range per gift.
yeah. Have you seen any, it's not necessarily the point, but, like, have you seen any return clients come back either because they were reminded it's someone you had worked with and they had forgotten, but then they were reminded, or because of how creative these most recent ideas have been?
Yeah, I think that is something I've seen year over year. Is like I'll work with someone in January or March, and then I won't work with them again for the rest of the year until they get my Christmas gift at the end of the year. And it definitely is a reminder, like, oh, he exists. And it really had me thinking. We did some goal setting this week. One of the goals was like, how do we keep in contact and show love throughout the year rather than just one time a year. And so that's something I'm kind of trying to tackle and trying to figure out. So it's not just a one time a year thing. I will say it's not going to be some crazy gift, but like, how do we be intentional with with building those relationships and then not just be like a, hey, good to see you. Here's something crazy.
Yeah. Yeah. That's cool though. I mean, one of the things that I talk about quite a bit, I try to post on LinkedIn a lot, and people are like, "Why do you do this?" I'm like, "It's just so that I don't care if anyone likes my work. I don't care if anyone comments on the post, but if it shows up in their feed and they see my face and they just so happen that day to like need design work, I'm now top of mind." And so that idea of being top of mind is super, in my mind, important.
Yeah. And I will say this year's Christmas gift got a ton of traction on LinkedIn. Like it had like over 10,000 impressions. And usually like my LinkedIn posts get like 200
Yeah.
impressions. Um, and it's mostly creatives that are seeing it, that are, it's like, I was talking to Riley, who's the designer of my team. I was like, we do want to, like, I used to be like, you have to focus on the client. What is it like? What do our clients want to see? What do they want to do? But in this industry, like, I work with a lot of advertising agencies. And so it's like creatives are some of the people I'm trying to impress so that they bring me in for a project. And so I don't care if it's just creatives that think this is cool, because honestly, like, creatives are a huge chunk of my business.
Hmm.
And I definitely had people reaching out from that post. I even had someone that was like, hey, like, we have a job opening for someone who does this type of stuff. And like, not really in the, not in the market for that, but it was cool to see, like, oh, this is actually working not only as like a gift, but as some sort of outreach. So
Yeah, that is cool. Yeah, and you mentioned, having this second designer. I think that's a recent development.
mhm.
Was the like, how did you know it was the right time? What made you make the leap? Yeah, and how's it going?
Yeah, I don't know that there is a right time. uh, I know that the past year has been like crazy busy for the most part, but with any freelancer, it like ebbs and flows. So like you'll have like a crazy good couple of months and then it's like dead slow. Um, so bringing someone on staff that you have to pay monthly was something I thought about for a long time. And like, it's not cheap to do. And like, you want to make sure you have enough work for that person to stay busy, and it's got to be the right person. And I kind of talked to my wife and I like set some goals, and I was like, look, if we hit this number, um, spring of 2026, I'm going to hire someone. And then in the fall, like, just after we had talked about that, someone had reached out I was like, hey, like I'd love to chit chat and talk about the industry. And I couldn't tell if he was like feeling me out for a job or if he was just interested in connecting. But we hopped on the call, and I was like, I think this guy is really talented. His work's good, and um, like we vibed pretty well. And so I was like, I know it's not the time I'd planned, but I feel like God and the universe kind of always like sets things in motion, and I felt like it was just like it was a good opportunity. Riley has been doing a fantastic job. He's hopping in, he's working hard. Yeah, so far no complaints at all. It's a it's been a good move. Um, and to be honest, I was so busy doing the work for the last year, and we still are super busy right now. So like I'm still working a lot. Well, my hope is that Riley will be able to take some of that weight off of me. That way I can focus more on the creative side. Because we've definitely been in production mode for like the last year. And I want to be doing production, like obviously got to do the work, but I also want to have a moment to step back and assess like, hey, what direction is this company going? And I think having someone to help manage the workload is going to help me be able to steer the ship a little easier.
Yeah. Do you feel like that has also allowed you to be more present with your family, like when you're with them?
Man, I think uh, that's a hard thing.
Yeah.
I am very much like if I have emails in my inbox that are unread, like it stresses me out. And so I can be having a great day and then get like 3 emails in and just like I can't think about anything else other than like I need to respond to those emails. Um, but I, I guess the long story short is like I do prioritize like time with the family. Like I get in here around 8 o'clock in the morning. I leave at 4:30 every day. Pick up my daughter. Like that's just I kind of wanted to build that schedule. And so like Riley's doing the same thing. Like Riley leaves at 4:30 every day. It's something like I've worked at advertising agencies where you work till 5, you work till 5:30, you work till 6. Some people work later than that. And it's just not something I wanted. Like I'm a big, I want to be home before the sun's down kind of guy.
Hmm.
And so that's been really nice.
Yeah. That's cool. Yeah, I'm the same way with email. I I've recently gotten the brick uh
Hmm.
device that you tap your phone. And so before I go to bed, I'll brick my phone. And so when I wake up, the brick is out in the like by the kitchen. And so I'll have to like physically get out of bed in order to unbrick my phone. And now I find myself not doing it like for even hours after I wake up,
Hmm.
because as soon as I know there's an email or as soon as I know there's work, my mind like kicks on and just starts being like, oh, how am I going to respond to this person? What do I need to do here? Which then pulls me away from my kids, especially when they're getting ready for school. Like the last thing I need is to like feel any work stress
Hmm.
because it's already stressful enough to get everyone dressed and out the door.
Yeah.
um, and to not like have that extra amount of like anxiety or frustration being like, oh well, I'm trying to do work and you're trying to
Hmm.
get dressed and they're at odds with each other. And yeah.
That's smart, man. I use the brick to block out social media apps during the day while I'm doing work, but I never thought about like using it to block out my email at night. That's pretty smart. I would say my wife was like, we had a goal setting day yesterday where we kind of like set out what we want to do, how to get there, and kind of like I know what I wanted, but I didn't know what Riley wanted, like to learn and do. So I was like, look, this is our chance to kind of like figure out what we want to do. Like, how do we go that direction? And it was a great morning. We went and got lunch. Then we went and played Top Golf. And like right before Top Golf, I got like a couple emails and like knowing that I'm not going to be able to respond. I'm out and about. And, it kind of, it kind of dampened the fun mood for me, just knowing that there were emails I had to respond to. And I was like, dang it. And like, I should have not have looked at my phone. Like, I know I can't, there's nothing I can do right now anyways. But yeah, it does. The anxious nature that I have is, I'm learning to deal with it, but it's still a problem for sure.
Yeah, totally. I there have been times, so I have a co-working space, and so there have been times I'll finish the work that I need to get done for the day and decide like, okay, it's like 3:30, I'm gonna go home. My kids are getting home from school soon, and I'll spend, a couple extra hours with them because a day didn't require it. And inevitably I'll get home and in between here and there, 15 minutes, I'll get two emails or a message on Trello or something like that. And now all of a sudden, this afternoon that I had planned to like spend extra time with my kids, I'm now like, oh, I got to grab my laptop and actually like knock
Mhm.
some more things out. And like those things aren't requiring me to do them that afternoon, but my brain is just
Yeah.
whirling.
Dude, I'm the exact same way. Like, I would rather knock it out and like all night I'm gonna think out what I gotta do tomorrow. If I could just knock it out really quick or send an email about it, then I'll be fine. And I think it even hurts worse because like I end my day at 4:30 for the most part. But my clients don't necessarily do that. You know, they're working till 5:30. Uh,
Yeah. And you're
and
East Coast, right?
I'm central.
Central.
Yeah.
So if there's West Coast clients,
Hmm.
they
Yeah.
still got a whole bunch more hours.
Yeah. And I do have people in California that I work with. And so, luckily they're super easy. And like, and to be honest, almost all my clients, I don't think they would even expect me to respond like in 30 minutes. And like, oh, if they email me at 5 o'clock or 4:30 or 4:45, whatever it is when I'm away from my computer, if they got an email the next morning, it would probably be totally fine. But it's a me problem. It's not a them problem. Like I have a couple clients that are pretty demanding, but for the most part, everyone is probably pretty chill. And it's just me putting these standards on myself.
Yeah. Yeah. Which one could argue that part of the reason your clients love you is because you're very attentive. It's this catch 22 where it's like it's not required, nobody's asking to do it, but also could be part of why I love working with you.
Yeah. Yeah. And I will say like that is something in the creative field that isn't super, like there are really good business creatives, but there are so many more creatives that are just your typical creative. Like they get to things when they want to get to things. And that's not me. And I think every year I probably gain like one or two clients a year. Um, maybe a couple more. But for the most part, my work is to repeat clients year after year after year. And I think it's because of the service I provide. I think there are a lot of designers that do good work, but I think this industry is more than good work. Good business sense, good service. I think if you do okay work and you're like a good service provider, then you'll do great. Like you don't have to be the most amazing designer, and you can be the most amazing designer. And if you suck at communication, you better you better go figure it out.
Yeah. Yeah. That's so true. One of the other things I wanted to talk to you about, and it was something that you mentioned in passing before we hit record, which was every Friday morning you have breakfast with your daughter, um, which I think is like really awesome, really special. Why did you institute that? Like, how is it going? I mean, breakfast with a 2-year-old isn't always like the most exciting
Yeah,
time, but yeah, talk a little about that.
yeah. So this summer I made the switch. So I was like starting my day around like 9, getting my daughter to daycare by 9, getting my day started at 9:30. And so my wife got a new job, um, which is a whole nother story. That was a wild time. I'll briefly touch on it. I had like my lowest sale months since I started freelancing, and then my wife got laid off that same month, and
Mm.
I was like, oh god, like what are we gonna do? So I was like, look, I'm gonna get up. I'm gonna be working harder in the morning. You're gonna go. Like she got a new job. It's great, but her job starts pretty early, and she brings Clara to work to allow me to go get to work earlier. And but I used to spend that time in the morning with her every morning, and so now I'm like kind of shipping her off to daycare, and I don't really get to spend that time in the morning anymore, other than like 10 minutes of getting her dressed. So every Friday we go to a Waffle House, um, and it's like her favorite thing to do. Like Thursday night, she's like, "Ooh, Waffle House tomorrow," and like we get there and like we're regulars, so they know us. We sit down and we order the same thing every time, and it's just like a nice 30-minute. She's always super excited to go. My wife doesn't really love Waffle House, and so she's like, "Yeah, y'all go have fun. I'm going to work." But it's been like a nice routine and a nice tradition, I guess now. So we're coming up on 6 months of Waffle House every day. So by the end of the year, man, I don't know how good this is for my health, but it's definitely good for my daughter and I's relationship.
Yeah, that's awesome. I I'm a huge Waffle House fan, and so um I fully support all of this.
Yeah, it's so like people like I think people that don't like it haven't been in a while. Because it's hard to mess up a great waffle and eggs and hash browns. Like, what's there not to like? I don't, if you don't like breakfast food,
Well,
what's,
you're also going in the morning. I
yeah,
feel like there's this different stigma when you go late at night.
yeah. You would not believe how many regulars there are. Like, that I see the same people every Friday. And the other day I had a meeting on Friday morning, and we're gonna have to switch up today. We're gonna have to go on Thursday. And so we went, and some of the regulars there, I'm like, do y'all just come to Waffle House every day? Like, is this like a every morning thing? And like, they're like, you see a lot when you've been there. Like, people are like hugging, talking about family, and they're like, do y'all live here? Like, this is crazy. Like, we go every week, and I feel like they have much stronger regulars than us. So I don't know.
That's cool. That's funny. Yeah. I would love. This is making me want to like figure out a time because my wife and I have talked about. We have two girls, so like alternating. Hey, you take one, I take one, and like do some
Hmm.
intentional individual time with them in the evening. Like every other Wednesday or something like that. But I love this idea of a breakfast because there's still time. Like if you get up early enough
Hmm.
and get dressed and everyone's excited about it, you can get there and eat and get to school on time.
Hmm.
Um, so I like this. I like this idea.
And Waffle House, uh, they are really quick. Like, so we order the same thing every time we go in there. They almost know our order by now. We sit down. As soon as I sit down, we're like, get a water. Here's what we want. And it's at the table in like 5 minutes. Like literally from like walking in, walking out, you can be out in under 30 minutes. Sometimes we
Nice.
stick around and chill out for a little bit longer than that. But yeah, you can definitely make time for it.
Yeah. I'm just far enough north where there isn't a Waffle House on every corner. So
But
the
yeah,
closest one for me is like 25 to 30 minutes, but
yeah.
we have other diners
There
that
you
we
go.
could make work. But yeah, I wanted to ask you two more questions before we signed off here. And the first one is, as a dad, what's been your greatest joy?
Yeah. Man, this is hard. Hard question. There's a lot of things that bring me joy. I think I'm going to kind of round it all into one thing. I think watching my daughter like grow and kind of gain confidence and kind of develop a personality is what's most joyful for me, because like every day it's some new quirk that she's doing, or some new thing she's learned, and she's super excited to show. It's so fun when she like celebrates and says, I did it," and I'm like, "You did it, girl." Yeah. So I think it's not necessarily one specific thing. It's like this process of fatherhood that is super rewarding.
That's cool. Yeah. And then on the flip side, what's been your biggest learning as a dad?
Yeah. Um, so I think one of the biggest things I've had to learn and uh, kind of adjust as a dad is that you can't control everything. I think this definitely relates to business as well, but with a toddler at home, like, things are not necessarily going to go the way you plan, and they're not going to be necessarily ready or excited to do what you're doing. So it definitely made me a lot more flexible, and I've kind of had to learn to like let go of the reins, and it's okay to just kind of live in this moment and kind of go with the flow a little bit. Whereas I'm very much one of those people who likes to be in control of every little thing, and I think it's good overall that that I'm releasing the reins a little bit. So
Yeah. That's great. That's awesome. Well, yeah. Thank you so much for coming on, sharing about your work, telling us about your family. If folks wanted to follow you online, see your work, where can they go to do that?
yeah, you can check me out on Instagram, Minor Design Co. Um, and then LinkedIn. I try to post a good bit on there. You can find me there, Nicholas Minor, on LinkedIn, and hopefully I'll be posting some more stuff. But it's kind of few and not very often right now. So
Yeah. Yeah. Well, sounds good. A lot of those NDAs prevent us from actually being able to share work, which there's always a rub there, but it is what it is.
yeah, there. This year we've already had a bunch of cool, a few projects kick off that are going to be super fun to share. So more work is coming. But man, last year was wild. At the end of the year, we do like these Addy Awards that we submit to, and they reached out and like, hey, you want to submit some work? I was like, yeah, sure. And I went through all my work, and like every year it's like 50-50. Like 50% of the work is free to show, and 50% is like under NDA. And last year, like 90% of the work was under NDA, and I was like, I don't have much to show at all. Like, been very busy, but we submitted a few things, but yeah, hopefully this year we'll get to share some more stuff, and we got some more studio projects. So if you like the Christmas gift, keep an eye out. There's some other studio focused work that we're working on.
Very cool. Well, thanks again, and thanks for coming on.
Yeah, man. Thank you.